Hi everyone, Tasha here for Cat Scrappiness, and today we're going to create a fun summer themed Quokka card using items from the Cat Scrappiness summer release. The supplies we'll be using in today's project include the Happy Day stamp set. This was from an earlier release, but I'm using the Hello Greeting. I'll be using the Summer Quokka stamp set, this little surfing Quokka, along with the coordinating die set and paper from the Summer Vibes paper collection. This paper collection is double-sided and includes a whole bunch of fun prints and solid colors. And I'll also be using blue cardstock and white cardstock. And I'll be doing some stenciling. I'm using a cloud stencil, and then I know it's hard to see, but I did create my own stencil as well. And I'm using this really cute wavy frame die, and that's how I made my stencil. And I'm also going to use it in the project. I'll be using this kind of like a edged or a stitched edge die. It's from the Summer Fun Essentials die set, and I'll also be using the sun die. To begin, I'm going to do all the stenciling. I'm starting with the cloud stencil and Salty Ocean Distress Oxide ink. I'm going to use this to create the sky. I'm starting with the top area and I'm just layering on the color. And I'm going to move my cloud stencil around and then just work my way down. I want it to be darkest on the top and then just kind of lighter along the bottom. So this way the clouds have a nice bright poofy look, but you have the blue with the white popping through. I also added color to the edges. I do like to make sure that I have color along the edge. I just think it makes the card look, I think, better when you have the color going all the way around. And once I have it almost all the way down, I decided to go in with that stencil I created. I used that wavy frame die and just cut a piece of plastic to make like a wave look. So I'm using some darker blue. This is Blueprint Sketch Distress Oxide ink. And then do you see how this looks like waves? So if you don't have a wave die or a wave stencil, you can always make your own. You can cut it from paper or do like I did and use just a frame die or whatever you have and then just use that as waves. It's really simple to do. Once I was done, I went over everything just to kind of blend the colors together. And do you see how it looks like water and then a sky background? Once I was done with that background, I went in with Distress Oxide ink in the color Antique Linen, and this is going to be the sandy bottom of the card. So I just lightly went over everywhere, made sure that some areas were darker, kind of like a sand look, and then I'm using that bottom base die that's from the Summer Essentials die set, and I just cut out that border. I'm also going to cut out the sun, that center piece, and then the outline of the sun at the same time with just some white cardstock. I'll be ink blending this as well, but I thought since I had the big shot out, I'll just cut those out. So now I'm going to go in to color my sun. I'm using 2 shades of Distress Oxide ink. I'm using Scattered Straw for the darker color, and then Squeeze Lemonade for the bright yellow. Squeeze Lemonade is so pretty for suns, and it's just such a nice bright shade of yellow. This sun die set is really pretty because you have the 2 pieces. So I went around with a darker shade of yellow along that outline and then used more of the brighter Squeeze Lemonade for that center. And they layered together, so you get a really neat look for your sun that you can use alone or together. You could also use this circle to make a moon. Now for my card, I'm going to attach that sandy area to the card before I cut out my frame. This way everything cuts out perfectly. So I'm using some glue runner and I'm just going to attach it in the area that I want it to be on my card once it's cut out. So I glued it to that bottom area by the water, and then I'm going to go in with that wavy die and I'm going to cut it out. This way I don't have to measure anything up, and the wavy border goes all the way around without any gaps. Do you see how it's perfectly all the way around and it looks like one piece? Next, I'm going to start my stamping. I'm taking a piece of white cardstock and I'm stamping the little surfing quokka and then the little pail and shovel set. I'm using some hybrid black ink since I will be using Copic markers. Hybrid ink is great if you're using alcohol markers to do your coloring because it won't bleed or smear once it's dry. And it does dry really quickly. And here's how they look all stamped up. I just love that little shovel and pail set. Since I had my Misty out, I decided to stamp my greeting. For this greeting, I'm stamping it directly onto the card and I'm using the word hello. I decided to go in with an ink color that kind of was a little bit darker than the sand, but a similar shade. So I'm going in with a light brown color. This greeting looks great on that sandy bottom area, and I love the script in the hello. You can send this out anytime, and I think it's great for summertime. So I went in and stamped it 2 times directly onto that ink blended bottom area, and this is how it looks. It just matches perfectly. I'm going to use the coordinating dies, and then I colored up my Quokka and shovel and pail set. I did do this off camera just because it takes me a little while to color those images up. Now it's time to assemble our little scene. I'm using some liquid adhesive to attach the sun to that sky area, and I'm going to put it in that top corner. This comes together so easily, and you can make a bunch of these cards at one time just by having an assembly line, since now we're just putting everything together. And then that little circle fits perfectly in the center. And then I'm going to glue the little shovel and pail to the other corner. I'm just kind of positioning it because I do want my Quokka to make sure there's enough room for him to stand without overlapping the shovel or the sentiment. So I put the shovel on one corner and I'm using some foam tape to attach the Quokka. You could also cut out extra paper or cardstock scraps and layer your Quokka up instead of using foam tape. Or you could just attach the Quokka directly onto your card. In addition, you could just mask off the Quokka and have it be a single layer card, which I do a lot as well. But for this one, we're using some foam tape and just raising him up a bit. And do you see how he looks? He's so cute with his little surfboard. This is one that I really wanted to make sure I used this summer just because the Quokkas are adorable and I just love that he has his little surfboard. After I decided to put a layer of blue paper behind it, this way you could really see those wavy frame lines. And then I'm attaching it to a piece of paper from the Summer Vibes paper pad. And this collection of paper has these bright, fun summer colors. And I love this striped piece because it has all of those colors in one. Then I cut out a simple white card base, but I didn't like the white behind it, so I used another piece of paper from the Summer Vibes paper pack in this bright yellow, and I think it's so perfect for this because of the yellow sun, and it brings in those summer kind of colors for our little beach scene. And it's really simple to do. I'm just layering it directly onto the card with some glue runner. And then to complete the design, I'm just adding some Cat Scrappiness enamel dots. And these ones are great. They have a color, but they're kind of clear, so you can put them anywhere. And I just layered them on the sky. I hope you enjoyed today's project. All the items will be listed on the coordinating blog post and in the description below. Have a great day. Bye-bye.